In lecture 15, we will discuss the inverse Laplace transform methods. Mainly, will discuss the third method, partial fraction, in this particular lecture, because all other methods we discussed in the previous lecture. So, and we will also discuss some problems related to this. And these are the different methods used for finding the inverse Laplace transform. One is by using the formula, and another one is use the table transform method. Now we will discuss that we already discussed in lecture 14. Now we will discuss partial fraction method in this particular. In order to find out the partial fraction method, we need the help of transform pairs. Okay. So we will discuss with an example. So here we need to find the inverse Laplace transform of the signal x of s is equal to 2s plus 4 by s square plus 4s plus 3, and the ROC is given sigma greater than minus 1. So first we need to factorize this equation. So x of s can be written as x of s is equal to is written 2s plus 4. So I can write 2s plus 4 divided by denominator you can write s plus 3 into s plus 1, and this we can do in partial fraction form. You can write a by s plus 3 plus b by s plus 1. Okay, if we take the LCM, it becomes a into s plus 1 plus b into s plus 3, and the denominator will be same, s plus 3 into s plus 1. So now we can see that the numerator of this equation and this quantity is same, because denominator is same. So I can equate these two quantities. So I can write 2s plus 4 is equal to a into s plus 1 into b into s plus 3. Okay, so if you substitute s is equal to minus 1, you will get b is equal to 1. Okay, and similarly if you substitute s is equal to minus 3 in this particular equation, you will get b is equal to 1. So both a and b is equal to 1. So your x of s becomes, you can substitute a and b, so 1 by s plus 3 plus 1 by s plus 1. So now we can perform the partial fraction, the standard formula, and for that we need to identify whether the signals are causal or non-causal. And there are two poles, one is at s is equal to minus 3 and another one at s is equal to minus 1. Now we can see that the question it is given, it's sigma greater than minus 1. Real part of s greater than 1 means sigma greater than minus 1. So it's towards right, means the pole corresponding to minus 3 represent a causal signal, minus 1 also representing a causal signal, because for causal signal ROC will be right of the rightmost pole. So based on that concept, we can say that these two poles represent causal signal. So based on that I can write the result in causal form. So causal form means the first one, okay, first equation. So 1 by s plus 3 can be written as e raised to minus 3t into u of t, plus the other quantity is also representing causal, so you can write e raised to minus t into u of t. So the result is in a causal form. Okay, this is the inverse Laplace transform. So always write the ROC and check the poles, okay, corresponding poles. Now we'll discuss the next question. For the next question, also the same question, so factorization part will be the same. So we don't want to do this the same, similar to the previous question, the same question. Only we need to verify about the ROC. Okay, if you factorize this part, you will get like this, because the same question but the ROC is different. So here the two poles are at minus 3 and minus 1, but here the ROC is given towards left of minus 3. So this minus 3 representing an anti-causal signal, and 1 is also representing anti-causal, because for anti-causal signal the ROC lies left of the leftmost pole. So minus 3 and minus 1, so this ROC lies left of these two poles. So these two poles corresponds to anti-causal. So we need to write this in anti-causal form. This is also in anti-causal form. Anti-causal means the second part. So you can write x of t in this form. X of t is equal to minus e raised to minus t into u of minus t, and the other part minus e raised to minus 3t into u of minus t. Okay, so the signal is purely an anti-causal signal. So anti-causal signal. Okay, so the same answer, but the ROC is different. Now we will discuss another question. Again the same question, so we don't want to perform the partial fraction again. The same result we will get, and only thing we need to do, we need to verify the ROC. Okay, here also when you perform partial fraction, you will get exactly the same answer. And now we need to verify the ROC. Here the ROC is written minus 3. There are the two poles between minus 3 and 1. So this is the ROC between minus 3 and 1. Means this minus 3 corresponds to a causal signal, because with respect to this pole, ROC is towards right. So this is causal. And with respect to minus 1, ROC is towards left. So minus 1 represents anti-causal signal. So when you write the inverse, this corresponds to anti-causal and this corresponds to causal. So anti-causal signal can be written as e raised to minus, by using the second equation, e raised to minus t into u of minus t plus this is causal form, so e raised to minus 3t into u of t. So one part is causal, so this is anti-causal part and this is causal. So the overall the signal is a non-causal signal. It contains both positive and negative side. So this is a non-causal. Okay. Now we'll do the another question. Find the inverse Laplace transform of the signal. So the same question, but there is no ROC. In the previous case, they are given some ROC. In this particular question, there is no ROC is given. Means we need to find all possible solutions. This is a typical question. So we need to find all possible solution. So in this way also you can expect the question, find all possible solution. Otherwise, find the inverse Laplace transform of the signal. So first we need to factorize. If you factorize this question, you will get exactly the same. Okay, same quantity you will get, but we need to verify the ROC. So there are two poles. So one is s is equal to minus 1 and s is equal to minus 3. Okay, so minus 3 and minus 1. So the ROC can be different cases. So case 1 I can say one possibility is sigma greater than minus 3 and sigma greater than minus 1. This is one possibility. Okay, this is case 1. And another possibility, sigma less than minus 3 and sigma less than minus 1. This is another possibility. And the third possibility, sigma greater than minus 3 and sigma less than minus 1. And another possibility, sigma less than minus 3 and sigma greater than minus 1. So we will get 4 cases, and we expect 4 possible solutions, okay, for this particular question. So now we will consider each one. So, and one more thing, if sigma, first one, sigma greater than minus 3 and sigma greater than minus 1 means two poles minus 3 and minus 1. So one signal exists from greater than minus 1, okay, and another signal exists greater than minus 3. So both signal exists only from minus 1 onwards. So I can conclude this is equivalent to sigma greater than minus 1. So your ROC will be like this. Here it is minus 3, here it is minus 1, and the resultant ROC is greater than minus 1. So ROC is sigma greater than minus 1. So this minus 3 corresponding causal signal and minus 1 also corresponding to causal signal. So I need to write the inverse. Okay. So this is question 1 actually. In this lecture we discussed question 1. So question 1 similar to this. Okay. So I can directly write the result. So similar to the previous one, the first question. So answer will be like this. Okay. Both signal represent causal part. This is also causal, this is also causal. So we need to find the inverse, but already we discussed that. So now we will discuss another case. This case 2. In case 2 it's less than minus 3 and sigma less than minus 1. So if you consider this ROC, one is minus 3, another one is minus 1. So we can verify this. One is less than minus 3 and another one is less than minus 1. So I can conclude that both signal converge from minus 3 onwards. So I can reduce this sigma less than minus 3. So this is the ROC. Here it is minus 3 and here it is minus 1, and the combined signal less than minus 3. Okay, so this is actually your question 2. Okay, in the previous if you refer this question 4, question 2 is exactly the same. So I can directly write the result. So the final answer will be like this, in anti-causal form. So this is an anti-causal signal, this is also an anti-causal signal. Okay, now we'll discuss the next question. So next possibility, this is case 3. In case 3, again here it is sigma greater than minus 3 and sigma less than minus 1. This is the possibility. So you can draw this minus 3 here, minus 1 here, and if it is minus greater than minus 3 towards right, okay, you can go up to infinity. Another possibility is less than minus 3 means towards left. So both signal converge from minus 3 to minus 1. So I can reduce this like this, minus 3 less than sigma less than minus 1. So this is actually question 3. Okay, ROC is between 2 point minus 3 and minus 1, between minus 3 and minus 1. So this is sigma axis, this is j omega axis, and this ROC is between minus 3 and minus 1. So minus 3 represent causal signal, and minus 1 represent anti-causal. This is exactly the third question. Okay, so we can refer the previous portion, or I can directly write the result. Okay, so here you can see that two signals, one is anti-causal and another one is causal. So overall it's a non-causal signal. Okay, now we'll discuss the third case. Here sigma less than minus 3 is a fourth case, and sigma greater than minus 1. So which means less than minus 3 means towards left, and greater than minus 1 means towards right. So we can conclude that there is no common ROC. There is no common ROC. Okay, ROC for this particular signal. So X of S does not exist. Okay, so it's an invalid ROC. Okay, this kind of ROC cannot write for individually. Maybe the signal exists, but as a combination does not exist. So out of this 4 possibility, only 3 solution. One is causal, and second possibility anti-causal, and third one we can write it as non-causal, and fourth one invalid. Okay, so these are the 4 cases. Thank you.